Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of The Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 from the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM from New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee, who have been a part of the Outer Realm family now for, the last 4 years at least. So big thank you, Folgers. Amelia and I could not or would not want to do it without you. So we appreciate you so much. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, aka Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his music, his time, and his voice for the intro that you just heard. Justin is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, sci-fi, and dark wave electronic music, which is available on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, big thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind the banners and logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in a lot of the horror genre, does phenomenal pieces, just saying, but can also do commission pieces of any sort, which includes graphic novels, just saying. So tonight, of course, we are having our monthly open mic night, and we were just kind of, having a little parlay about some of the things that we were going to talk about.
And some intrusion from our network owner. Can I, or am I interrupting you still speaking?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I had messaged him and said, don't get sick because Joe Montaldo is in LA and he's working an award show. So he said, should be good trying to sleep when I can about 4 hours a night. And I wrote, I'm live. Don't want to piss off the network owner by being on my phone.
Right.
I mean, he wrote, LOL, that's right. I forgot. I don't even know what time it is.
What a guy. But hey, we got everybody's chiming in. Lady Spider Witch, hello. Hello, Ruth. Hello, Janie and Catherine and Thirsty. Hello. And we've got Tamara. Hello. If I miss anybody, I'm sorry. Again, we have a lot of platforms kind of coming into one little lane here. So we do appreciate you guys all being here, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We were just sort of talking about what to talk about because we talk about so much stuff. And, we'll start off with benign stuff. And then we're going to get into hidden in plain sight sort of things with different shows we've been watching lately and get everybody's thoughts on it. And maybe, maybe you guys will, pick up on a few things that we're watching, so on. But there's some really interesting things out there, and it makes you wonder, are they actually trying to tell us something? But we'll get to that shortly.
I have an egghead. I've got my glasses on my face. I know it looks like I have the lights dim because I still have a headache from my migraine. So I've got the lights dim, but I'm looking at my hair going, it looks unusually large. Yeah, I'm feeling like the alien right now.
No, can't tell. It's got this darker background, everything's just kind of blending.
I'm about their height.
Yeah, it could happen. It could happen.
Why not?
Yeah.
But
yes, our fearless leader is in LA, along with Preston Dennett and Dolly Saffron from the Light Gate, and they're on for the big Writers and Illustrators of the Future Award. Here's your plug. And supporting the authors of science fiction. So I think, supporting authors is great. And I like to support authors,
I do too. I love Preston's books, but I wouldn't say that they're fiction.
Not Preston's books.
No.
Preston is actually one of the grand prize winners
Yes.
that they have every year, and this is like a big deal for them. So he was invited to go out, and figured he had to be there on Family Matters, and he would go ahead and check it out. So I hope they are all having a great time, and holding down the fort at this end. And it's been very quiet. If he's listening, Joe, yeah, it's been very quiet.
I don't even know where he is. I mean, it's 6:15 there. So I
Yeah,
don't know. He just told me that he's really running on like on empty. It's
yeah.
been a few days. Does it end soon? Well, anyways, let's get
He's
into
back
our
on
thing.
Friday. He's back on Friday, so you
Well,
know.
he's gonna be miserable again.
So, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say let's just move on.
Last night was the season 5 debut of Skinwalker Ranch. So, who watches Skinwalker Ranch? I missed the whole last season
I
just
didn't watch it.
because I didn't have my DirecTV connected. Ooh, another
Yeah.
shameless plug. But anyway, it started last night, season 5. And I'm thinking I must have missed a whole lot of stuff, season 4, because I enjoy the show. And I know, it's controversial. I've liked the stories that go back even from when Robert Bigelow had it. I thought it was fascinating. I do think, on an average, it's if Bigelow left it, pretty sure that's pretty
Is
much
he
where it ends for.
is he the original? I don't know much about the show.
Oh
I've
no, it
only
was a
seen
farm. It belonged to a rancher, but he had it for like 2 decades or something
he
like that.
that's what I thought because I remember his name and whenever you speak of it, you've spoken about him.
Oh
I've
yeah,
only
for
seen
sure.
a couple of episodes and because I don't have the
Yeah.
satellite dish and the American channels,
Mm,
but I've only seen a couple, so I know we're far behind, and I'm pretty intrigued by what I see, but it's
mm.
always on so late. I don't watch it all the way through.
Right,
And
right.
sometimes when you work in this field, you don't want to watch stuff like that. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, for
That's
sure.
just me. I'm just
I
saying it's me because it depends what kind of week we had.
Hi, Z-Sun. Yeah, updates on Skinwalker going on. Yeah. I find, you know what, I watch for the first time in a year, and they do a lot of experiments, and I thought it was interesting because they were working with GPS, and they had 2 helicopters, and they were going above the ground, and they kept going higher and higher. But when they were going one direction, the other the other helicopter could pick up the signal because they were
Okay.
over the Skinwalker Triangle. There's a
Yeah.
triangle there, and we've talked about power spots in that many times, right? So,
Yeah.
but there's a lot that happens there, obviously, for them to have labeled it as such, and the one helicopter cannot get a signal. It's like it hits a wall, this invisible wall. And this is a GPS thing, which could like they mentioned, this could be really hazardous to anybody like flying over. And I kept thinking to myself, why are you under a no-fly? You should be under a no-fly zone if you're already not. But when they went to the other direction, still over the same area, the helicopter received the signal. It just went through. So they're mapping these helicopters zigzagging around with all of these gaps in the middle where they've lost a signal. And then they see these light anomalies when they're filming, and they're picking up light anomalies just zinging around.
Okay.
I don't know. What are your
I'm
thoughts?
gonna be the devil's advocate that I always am because of the
Yeah.
stupid criminal minds that I
Yeah.
have.
I say do it.
Thank you, Michelle. Do we know for sure this hasn't been tampered with or altered in any way?
Of course not. It's a TV show.
See, that's my first thing.
Right.
And it's so sad because if this is real, and I'm not saying it's not, I haven't seen it. I have no idea, about it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if it is real, it's sad because of all the naysayers will drone it and we won't be able to further evolve and get more information.
They
But
they have one of the best astrophysicists there doing stuff too. So it's pretty modern. I think they're really trying to put a legitimate spin on things by doing legitimate
scientific,
science. It's all
yeah,
scientific.
that's hard, but still can be edited in CGI. So that's all I'm saying.
Anything.
Like we live in such a
Anything.
time that if they had filmed that on regular film, I'd be like, wow, this is
Oh,
phenomenal.
we're in a different world. We are
Yeah,
definitely in a different world. I mean,
tough. But if you
we have
if you
AI and
trust them, then
CGI,
yeah,
right?
I know.
Different
I know.
times. But I thought it was interesting. I thought, okay, I missed the whole season, and I enjoy watching scientific what they do with the science end of it. I mean, Bigelow
Yeah.
did a lot of that as well. There's a lot of things that are unexplainable, but then like Joe said, he's been there. It's just like I didn't have any experiences, but for the
Joe
most part,
Montaldo?
yeah, but
Really? Well,
yeah.
maybe they don't like Joe.
Ooh,
Joe likes me. I
ooh.
can
Yep,
say
yep,
that.
yep.
Joe loves me.
I know,
I
I know.
I yeah, that's crazy, but I don't I feel like anything, unless you've spent a substantial amount of time somewhere, you really don't know if anything is like haunted
Well, people live
or a
on the
power
site.
spot. No, I know that. I'm
Yeah.
saying about Joe because people will say
Yeah.
that about haunted locations. Oh, I
Yes.
went there and nothing happened. It's like, well, how many hours were you there? I did
That's
a tour
that
for an
is
hour. That's not
exactly,
gonna do it for you.
and I'm glad you mentioned that because look at it this way. If like we'll get off Skinwalker, and let's get on to like hauntings briefly, like I think people who live on the location, I mean, spirits used to them, right? So I
Yeah.
think these are people ones. If you're an intruder coming in, and how many researchers, I mean, there's a great researchers out there, 100%, like second to none. And there are some in there who get in there and everybody's got to challenge and throwing out demands and do this and do that and jump through hoops. And, it almost made to make them feeling like they're like a circus act. So I
Mm.
think if we're looking at it that way, they're not going to respond. Or if they're leery of you, they're not going to respond. And let's say you have
Yeah.
something that's more along the line of something non-human. They're thinking to themselves, I just want you to go away. And if I don't do anything, maybe you just will.
And who are your company too? Because I know if Michelle and I are together, there's something's going to happen. Hi,
Right.
Wayne. Something's going to
Yeah.
happen, whether it's spirit box or whatever. We don't walk away without anything. But
Yeah.
again, the respect, I don't
It's,
know, being so calm and just being respectful is big for me. That's why I had such a hard time with the Lizzie Borden house.
well, I think people, we're getting back to that point. My hair is doing something really wonky right now.
I can't see.
It's just like, here we go. So
I'm so in the dark
I
here
just see
because of
kind
my
of going,
head.
and
I'm
maybe
like,
somebody's
oh,
lifting it up.
I would have told you. You would have felt it. You would have
I
felt
was
it.
like,
Hi, Wayne.
but
You would have felt it.
but it's like, wait, but
Yeah.
no, I do. I think that there are, you just have these cases where they're not going to act out for you or anybody. They just want to be left alone sometimes. And you get those who are really sociable, like at the manor. They were always very sociable. They would
Very.
interact with everybody.
Yeah.
Keep you up at night, pace the hall, just
Yeah.
touch you.
But
You
when
know,
Hi,
they
Wayne.
like tattoos, so they would touch people's ink and stuff. You know
Well,
what I
it's so
mean?
different for them, right? Because it didn't come in until I think after World War II was the tattoos, and then Vietnam was a big one too,
Mhm.
because they did them there. But you had tattoos. I mean, in the age of Peaky Blinders, you had it. That was World War II. But
Mhm.
they were symbols,
Yes,
not the way we do them now.
art.
Yes.
Right, right.
Yes.
I know. I think that when you're getting into um different, I think it really depends on the location that you go to as well as to how you'll be received. Because I think people do really silly thing. As he shares it, she had 6
Hi,
investigative teams come in,
Sherry.
you know,
Hello,
6 of
darling.
them. Yeah, and then you can't get anything darn well resolved. But I mean,
Yeah.
we talked about this one show that was on. I don't want to say the name of it because A, I'm not going to promote it, and B, don't want to get us booted either. But it
And
was
see,
just
I
like
hate the show. No.
it was in this little ghost town somewhere, and yeah, no, we've
Oh,
talked about it, yeah, before, and I really felt
it's
that,
ironically fighting to get back on, by the way.
yeah, they
Yeah.
all ran. No, not us. But no, it was just one of those things where, I think sometimes investigators do more harm than good because they're just so desperate to maybe in trying to help the family. Not always. I think sometimes it's for the better good of themselves, but there are those who really try to help the family. But sometimes you just things are done, like little ceremonies, and we're just going to try this. And like, well, what are you trying to do at that point? Are you actually trying to,
Leave something behind.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know, but I don't know, you know.
I think that with these paranormal shows, because so many are drifting away because they've really run their course having
Mm,
the same formula for every freaking one. I'm not lying. Um, the ones that stick out are still doing well, and there's a reason for it.
mm,
But I honestly believe that producers should be offset while filming. That is my opinion, because I've seen people who are in shows and producing the show. They're controlling the whole situation.
mm,
You're turning something organic into Hollywood, and the audience is not stupid. That's why
mm.
those shows are no longer on the air.
There's a lot of shows that are on the air. So here's
But
my
a
next.
whole ton of them got canceled,
That's what I
like
was
a
going to
whole
say.
slew. Yeah.
So here's my question that I'll pose to the chat room.
Yeah.
A lot of shows are now gone. Do you think paranormal television has played its course? Do you think, I mean, have we evolved as people who just want to know more? Are we tired of the formulas? Do we want something more tangible? Just chime in,
More
chime
ET.
in.
You're seeing a lot more ET
And see, and then
and
that brings us
crypto.
into the cross
Cryptic, not
between,
crypto.
right. That brings
No
us into
money there.
the cross between paranormal, cryptid, um, ufology. Like they're all
Yes.
connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
So,
you're seeing a lot more, at least in Canada, when you go onto the channels that host these programs and put these programs on, you're seeing a lot
mm.
of ancient alien type
Mhm.
shows now. And I believe they're all owned by the same, right? History, Discover, whatever. They're all amalgamated. I'm
Well,
not sure how it works.
well, Travel Channel or Discovery brought out a lot of people,
Discovery
a lot of
Plus has
channels.
it, but you will not find a lot of the old paranormal shows of the last 5, 6 years. They're all gone.
Right.
A
But
lot
you
of
know
them
what?
have been
The
canceled.
ones that they used to have, were like scariest places on earth.
Oh,
I
that's still
uh,
on.
reruns,
No,
they're
no,
not,
I know, but you know
yeah.
who plays that show of all things is Tele Latino, which is a Canadian Italian owned show.
Yeah, I think it's
They play
great.
that every weekend after midnight,
Yeah,
you know.
that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, some of the older shows were done really, really well. Like, even In Search Of.
Oh,
I
I
like
love,
shows that
yeah.
cover different things. So, do you guys think, again, I'll pose the question, do you think that these shows have just played out? They're just played out.
It's all yep, exactly. Hi, Tamara. Tamara says, I think the public has gone outgrown the narrative of these ghost and paranormal shows and want something with more up-to-date info. I'm with you, Tamara.
I agree with
I
that
think
as
so too.
well.
I think it was oversaturated.
Mhm.
Wayne says, as soon as the next greatest thing pops up, it'll be stolen and given to an already existing show producer, a successful series. That sounds personal, Wayne.
Oh,
Um,
it is. It's a little bit personal. I try not to go there too much, but I do agree. Everything sort of has a different idea. It's hard
yeah.
when the narrative always has to be the same thing. You're trying to come up with something original, and some of the shows did really good, like Ghost Mines. I think it was Ghost Mines, where
Oh,
everything
I
was done
love
in the
that
mines.
show.
Yeah, because you know what? It's
It's
something different. You're creating a
tangible though,
different platform while following the same narrative, right?
but
And
not formula.
Hmm?
Not formula. It wasn't like 15 minutes in, this happens. 25 minutes in, we go to this and we end it. Like
Oh,
it,
I
it
know.
was because you couldn't, it was real. Ghost Mine was so real,
Mhm.
and they could
There's a
validate
lot
all
of
those
good
voices
ones.
and all those names. That was an incredible series. I
Mhm.
enjoyed that. I forgot about that. Thanks,
But there's
Michelle.
some that were really different, and I think if you have different but even at that point, people kinda go, "Mm." But, there's a lot of politics behind a lot of this, and I think it's also very sad that there's so much politics behind it because there were some really good shows that also went to the wayside, but some of these shows have been picked up by independent production houses and are still going strong on different platforms, just not on mainstream. I think what people forget, a lot of these big production companies who are like, Discovery and you've got, Travel and History, that people are starting to use streaming platforms. The age of television and satellites, it's slowly going,
Yeah.
and people are using streaming platforms, and these streaming platforms, they're willing to pay the big bucks and bring on some of
Well,
these shows.
they can afford it with their monthly fees.
Oh,
And now you're getting gouged $5 more for no ads.
I know. I'll pay it though.
I do. I
Yeah,
know I do. Like I
yeah,
told you I would never do it with YouTube, and I did. I did it because I
I
started
know.
watching too many documentaries
I
that
did.
I
I
was
know.
getting so frustrated because when the advertisement comes in, they just continue the show behind it.
No, I
And
know.
when you're trying to do research, it really screws you.
I
But
believe
it's
me,
not
I've
a
been
big
paying for them
fee.
now for like a couple of
Yeah,
years.
but
So
YouTube doesn't have it's not a large fee per month for
it's
it's
not.
less than the price of coffee
Yeah.
to go without
Right.
an advertisement is a blessing, okay? Like that's
Right.
not a big deal.
Yeah.
These other big streamers,
Yeah. That's it.
yeah. They're
You
they're
know,
about the same as the membership fee to take the ads off.
right. Right. I don't know. You know what? I think personally that, the standard television is going away. And these big
Folgers.
production companies are going to have to realize that, give something tangible. I think we all want something more educational. And a lot of these streaming platforms, they do offer that because they will take mainstream people and they will like I've seen shows, it's like, okay, they're documentaries, and they're not like big production companies doing them. Right? But it's like, you know what? This is kind of cool though. And you could see that they put everything into it. I
Yeah.
mean, Darcy Ware, who's been on the show before, he's popping
Yes.
out all kinds of amazing stuff. They're really, really well done pieces, and he's independent.
Yep.
Aaron Daniels,
I was just gonna say AD. Oh my
AD.
god.
That's right.
Yeah. There's no
That's
such
right.
thing as ghosts.
That's right.
That was so good. I
I had
think
a
you could
great
still
time
get it on
filming that.
Prime, right?
You can still get it on Prime.
I'm
It's on
pretty sure you
Hulu. I
can.
think Netflix.
I
It's
think
on
he's
all
got it
kinds of different
everywhere.
places. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Remember
know.
his name, folks, because
Yeah, because I'll tell you something.
he's
We've
big.
we filmed another documentary with them on abductions, UFO
Yeah,
abductions.
he's big. Oh,
Yeah,
and I'm
he
so sad he's moving to South Carolina that I'd have to actually maybe hit a beach just to see him again. Darn.
I know it's rough to be that far away.
It is because he can't just drive over the border,
I
but
know. I know.
I'm happy for them. I'm happy
Yeah.
for them. Um,
Right.
like I said, I'll go to South Carolina. Wayne says it's reason why so many writers go to self-publishing. It's the same with TV. There's a lot of people out there with great ideas that are going to independent producers and directors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But as a lover of foreign films and documentaries, if you can get through, it's a lot easier, like with the subtitles. It really is because you're
Oh, I
getting.
don't like to read my movies.
I know they're it's annoying, but the dubbing sometimes is just like wow. So it is really
Yeah.
tough. It is really tough. But some of these shows are really, really interesting, and I thought we would mention a few. You
Sure.
know,
I'll watch anything that's French or Italian or even Spanish because I can understand it. But
Right.
when it gets anywhere out there, like German or Finnish, then I'm like, I'm done. It's a lot.
Right.
But you
Yeah.
enjoy them. My brother-in-law likes them too.
I find it not as commercial, and
No.
I'm trying to remember one that we watched. It was a Turkish series. I can't for the life of me remember the name of it, but it was the entire show was around Göbekli Tepe.
Oh,
And you
okay.
had a soul circle of people that followed themselves, and it was all due to this power spot of Göbekli Tepe, and they were all drawn to it, and they kept coming back every season. They were in a different role, a different life. They would role play, and they were all connected, and in the end, the message was we have to love one another, and you see them evolving through these different lifetimes, like how they started out and how they just kept evolving, and in the end you just see them this magical message where they're just talking to the audience, and they're saying this, it's about love. It's just, I have to get the name because
Mm-hmm.
when we watched it, I sat there and I'm like, wow, that is very profound. It was super, super spiritual on a whole other level, seriously. But, but there's right
It sounds
now,
very interesting. And because you know the story and the history, it's probably a lot easier for you to follow too, right?
well, again, Göbekli Tepe, if you just read on the history of it, it's interesting because it doesn't start out that way. You just get this woman she's an artist and she keeps drawing these symbols and she's infatuated. She can never stop thinking about this place. It's interesting because how many of us have done that where we're so drawn to places? Every place I have traveled to in my life, people are like, oh, you've gone to such amazing places. Yes,
Yeah,
because I'm drawn to them.
absolutely.
Right? You go to places where you feel a connection of some sort, right?
Well,
So,
except Barbados, but yeah.
right. Well, yeah,
I know
but
what you mean,
maybe
historical
you're a
places.
pirate in another life, but
I I could have been, but I mean, I don't know. I just have a thing for the beach and the
right,
sand, right?
right,
So,
right.
but
Maybe.
maybe with the because I do love Mexico, and I know how people feel about Mexico with the crime and everything. But lately, have you been to Canada? Just saying.
Right.
Um, I felt like I was home when I got off that last step onto the tarmac and I smelled the air. I
Hmm.
felt like I was being welcomed home. So I
Right.
know something in my life.
Right.
Could be pirates. We're
Could
right
be
there.
pirate. Could be a
Yeah.
pirate.
Yeah.
Hi, Dee.
Like my connection to Barbados is Rihanna. But anyway.
Uh-oh.
I'm
I don't
kidding.
know. I have been so fortunate to travel to so many incredible places, and I always say I leave a piece of myself everywhere I go, but I also
Absolutely.
bring back a little something
Oh,
from that
she's
place
naughty,
with me.
naughty, naughty.
Yeah, for real.
She's naughty. You have no idea.
Shut up, Bubbles.
You brought what?
I know.
That's all you'll hear when she tells me.
I know.
You know what I brought from blah blah blah?
Yeah,
What?
and I bring some back for friends too.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
but we're watching one right now, and we are in season 2. Sadly, there's only 2 seasons to it. I don't understand, why, because this obviously is, 2, 3 years old. I don't know why some of these shows don't continue. And it's called QA or OA, sorry, which stands for Original Angel. And it's a little bit like, watch it, guys. It's on Netflix. If you see it,
It's
it's just OA. And
does
it's
it say
slow going
limited
at first.
series?
Hmm?
Does it tell you limited series right off the bat? Because I know there's so
Yes.
many of them
Well, you
right
could
now.
just see it'll tell you how many episodes there are.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something, it's slow going at first. Like we're sitting there going, ugh. But you have to go through the process because it is oh my God, it is just fascinating. And you just see again the state of evolution. So we're partway into season 2 right now. And I'll tell you something, we can't stop watching it. I'm just like, you cannot tell me this is going to be it after this freaking season, because it's
Yeah.
one of those things that makes you want more. And in watching some of these shows, I'll go over a couple of others that you'll see there's a link in all of them. Okay. This one here, the big thing about, and I don't want to give it away, it's about NDEs and life after, and the afterlife. So we'll put that one there. See right there, Kira. Thank you. Thank you. So
I've got to watch it, Kira. So
yes.
did you just like fly through it in a weekend, Kira, or did you take your time? Like I'm one of those,
Well, each
I just
segment's an
purge
hour
right through.
long.
Each segment, yeah, I can do that in a weekend. I just don't
Yeah,
sleep.
right. Yeah.
But there has to be 12 episodes?
8 in the first one. I can't
Oh,
remember.
that's a long time.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you have
I
to break
know,
that up.
but you know what? I'm starting to think this is the one that Brad Pitt
Okay.
is an executive producer of. So he tends to do pretty deep stuff. And I thought, okay, this is really cool. Another interesting one to watch is a show called Time Trap. And it's strange because they're in this town, and they have this mountain, and the whole town is centered around this mountain, and mining, and all these weird things and tremors start going on, and they find themselves going to do a rescue, and they're in this mountain, and they realize that people have been trapped in time in there, and you just see them like they're literally frozen in time standing there. So again, you're getting into time travel,
Oh, I know what this one is.
portals,
Yeah.
same thing with a show called Dark. Now, there's one that was really fascinating because these people in this town keep going into this cave system where you can either go through doors or you can walk through a portal. They look through portals, they go through these tunnels, they end up in another time. And they go, and again, we're talking, this one I believe is from Norway. Really, really well done. Really well done. Yeah, Travelers. That was also another good one. That one does mess with your head.
I can tell you what happened to OA. It was unsustainable because I just looked it up.
Oh, it's too bad
It is too bad.
because it was excellent. Excellent. Well, we're done after season 2, but I'm dying to see what they do with it. Another one is called 3 Body Problem. So 3 Body Problem, which is the number 3 Body Problem. It's like this
Oh, OA is
game
real.
designed by extraterrestrial. They put this chrome dome on their heads, these goggle type things. It's crazy. Like it's so intertwined. These are all shows that when you're watching them, you're thinking to yourself, this is the thing. Like, is somebody trying to tell you something? So if you guys have seen shows where you think like you have to read between the lines, but it's a thing, like are we in a matrix?
Oh, sometimes doesn't it feel like that?
Oh gosh, for sure. Yeah, see? Look, Kira's right on the same page. I love it.
Yeah.
It has Travelers on her list. Yes, Catherine. Yes, yeah. These are really, really great film or series, and I'm just
It's impressive that OA was based on a true story.
right.
That's why I would want to watch it.
And
That's me. Yeah.
to say that it is unsustainable is sort of sad
Maybe
because
that means no money.
I know, and that's really sad because really isn't that much to it. It's on Netflix. Lady Spider Witch. All of these shows are on Netflix. So that's why I
Netflix, you
wanted
better be looking for the Outer Realm.
right.
Saying
Plug,
if you're listening.
plug,
We
plug.
plug you every week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think that these are just some examples of some shows because I find when I'm researching or looking for something, I always get drawn to things that for some reason maybe I'm supposed to see. I'll be
Mhm.
researching something like, honestly, I used to spend about 20 to 25 hours a week researching for the Gray Zone Uncensored, which is a show that Joe Montaldo and I used to do. And it went from being once a month, like once a week. I had no life because I had to research for all this stuff.
I'll never forget that.
And we decided, let's do something nice because everybody was in lockdown. So people were stuck at home, and I researched, and I only used, normally I have like an arsenal of books and stuff, but I only used things from the internet because my objective was if people wanted to learn more about something, it had to be something that they had access to be able to keep going with it. And I would
Yeah,
give the sources to where I found stuff. I made it very easy.
they were
And
great shows.
oh, well, hopefully, they'll, every now and then he plays one. They used to get a ridiculous amount of people. We figured let's just put this, at the worst possible time of the week, which was dinner hour. Saturday night. Oh God, everybody was listening. It was great though, very humbling. But I would
Yeah.
start researching, and next thing you know, I was someplace completely different because I was supposed to see information. I just kind of got pulled around a little bit. And I find the same thing goes with thanks to Mara.
It
We've
was
talked
a
about
really good
maybe
show.
doing another once a month one. Because dang it, man, it's a lot of work.
Well,
Um,
there's a lot that you research and you haven't done, right? You can maybe just go back to.
it's a lot of work.
Right now, you can't. No.
I could do, I could do a few hours a week to do it because I research a lot anyway.
Yeah.
But I had to create these segments. I had to literally design the whole thing, and I had to cover all kinds of different bases. The show wasn't just about, for instance, um, disclosure. No, we would go back in time about
Mhm.
how the ancients, there was no disclosure, and then how all of these different stories from astronauts or political people, or there was always a lot of information, like we really, and sometimes it would be 3 4 parters because there was just so much information. But thing is just, it goes to show you there's a lot of stuff out there, and when you're piecing things together to cover from ancient times to future, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun as well. I used to really enjoy presenting it to
I loved
people.
watching it.
Yeah, well, when we decided to do pictures, that was fun, or little
That was a
videos,
lot
and
of fun. Yeah, it's different when you produce a show like that. It takes everything out of you.
it
You
does.
have to cover all the angles, including legalities.
Yeah.
So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot of time.
Yeah. It was, but
Yeah.
it goes to show, where you get pulled in so many different directions that I was able to add so much. But there was personal stuff in there that, I get yanked over, something that maybe was pertinent to an experience that I had had and that I may have had questions about. And next thing you know, bam, well, here it is. And sometimes it could be weeks later. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Oh my God, this is this.
Mhm.
And I think the same thing goes for some of the things that we're reading or some of the things that we are actually watching. So I don't know. There we go.
There's always a reason. Um,
Yes.
Hi, Lady Spider Witch. How are you? She writes, I just bought a real cool paranormal dictionary. I have an Oxford Medical Dictionary and a kid you not parapsychology is included in the book, but I don't understand why. Does anyone know?
Yes, actually, I
I'm
do
glad she
know.
does because I'm like, why is it in there?
I actually do. I used to actually do ghost tours and a lot of investigations at one point. I would have psychology students message me because their courses would include 1 week. of parapsychology.
It's probably the most fun for them was that 1 week.
Oh my God, for sure. They were great. Like
I should
they would
ask my brother.
it was fun.
Yeah.
They would tag along on a tour, and then I would give them sites that they could go visit that were, let's say, not walking distance, and they would go in and investigate, and we would cram about what they should do, and they would videotape and bring it back for me to analyze. We had a lot of fun, but
Yeah.
parapsychology is, I mean, just look at Dr. Elliot Van Dusen, Dr. Jana Greenberg. You guys should watch Science and the Paranormal on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. There we go. Elliot is a parapsychologist who's a psychologist,
And a former RCMP officer.
All right. So,
Is
right.
quite the twist.
And Dr. Jana is definitely, she's going to be coming on our show, I think, in July, to talk about her paranormal experiences. So you see, we have a lot of different things in parapsychology, and a lot of it does go with, well, I always say mindset. Everything is in your mind, right? We have to factor in things like psychosis, projection, psychokinesis, telekinesis. There's a lot of stuff that has to do with the psyche, the mind, everything.
Mental health.
I know. Even though parapsychology is known as a pseudoscience, it's still a science of sorts. So it's all kind of linked together.
That's like it's like a theoretical science calling a geologist uneducated. It's that kind of,
Right.
I don't know, that rivalry, I think. I think anytime they can't put anything down exactly, that's what science is. They always have to put para in front of it because that just means unknown.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
No. Well, for sure. I mean, it's just looking at the scientific side of everything.
But how many scientists were a part of the remote viewing program with the CIA? Like, give me a break. There's scientists all over that.
Absolutely.
So there's something more to it.
I think, well, scientists, CIA, I mean, come on, CIA was training. They would train you how to become a remote viewer. Not necessarily something that you want them knowing you do in some cases, but there's some things that you would just better left in the closet sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's science takes a really big interest in even near-death experiences. Hello, go watch OA. Just,
I'm going to. I know what you're talking about. As soon as I saw the cover.
Yeah.
The promo, I looked at it and I went, I started it and I never finished it.
Oh, wow.
I had turned it on, and then if my daughter comes in the room, then she gets to watch she's 26, but it's like she's 6. So she'll come in and I just hand her the remote. So yeah.
But there's, you know what? There's so many. I mean, if you think back to the Philip experiment or the skull experiment, where manifesting, getting something to manifest. It's interesting, like the Philip experiment was interesting. It's kind of like the whole tulpa thing. We talk about tulpas, how something gets manifested just from the energy that people put out there. It's fascinating stuff.
It's scary because when they did the Slender Man, it affected a young child and another child who almost died from it. They scare me. Some of them scare me so much because with the internet, these children are exposed to so much and can get on anything within a split second, even if you're watching over them. It's just, that one went too far. Right. That one just really, really went too far. But I lost my train of thought.
I don't know that everything is deliberate. I mean, you look at Sunderman.
No, it wasn't deliberate.
It was in a game room. It wasn't a deliberate manifestation. No. But it goes to show you how we are powerful enough, especially as a collective.
But even Charlie, same thing.
Yeah.
With the pencils.
If we actually took the time and used this incredible ability to manifest as a collective.
Yeah.
The great, amazing things that we could create as well. I don't know.
Remember when they used to have those worldwide meditations? I used to get involved with them. I
Right.
used to always contribute and do them. I found them fascinating, to be
Mm.
honest.
Right.
And there's a couple million people that actually do this together. I haven't seen anything on that in a long time.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, it's just because you mentioned it. I was just like, wait a minute. I remember doing this 2015, 2016, was still
Mhm.
doing it. One of my friends would run one just like nationally here
Mhm.
in Seattle, but here. And I don't see it anymore. I mean, she continues to do it in her shop where she has the
Mhm.
singing bowls and she does it every night.
Mhm.
But you just don't see those worldwide ones, kumbaya, hold hands together and meditate for 15 minutes
Right.
to manifest peace. That's what it was about. I
Well,
haven't
I
seen that
I
in
know there's
years.
a lot of energy workers that will concentrate on certain levels of research and work together as a collective and you know manifest their information in other ways. I've done a lot of planetary stuff with a couple
Yeah,
of different people actually and have seen amazing results. I never would have thought myself, to be one. Not that I don't enjoy energy work, I've always enjoyed energy work. Usually it's on a bit of a darker level, just trying to do other stuff, not
yeah.
so much like healing the planet and just getting, ley lines and energy lines and power spots, just, you know,
That takes a skill. With this meditation,
yeah,
anybody can be a part of. That's what I mean. If it
yeah,
was more open and welcoming to anyone
right,
who
right,
just wanted to be a part of it, you didn't have to be gifted to do it to make a
right,
difference. I
right,
don't know. It's really sad.
yeah. But it's something that everybody can start up. I think
Yes.
now with with
That's it. You have the idea. Somebody roll with it. I will be there.
right. Well, you do because you have, social media, you can broadcast on you there's so many different um ways and
Absolutely.
avenues that
Yeah.
you can do it now,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, I agree. You,
Yeah.
you know, manifestation of peace. We need manifestation of peace.
It all turned to crap after the big C. So yeah.
Well, I think you have a lot of people out there right now who there's a lot of propaganda going on. There's just a lot of information. It's like information overload. People
It
just
is.
don't know what to believe anymore. People are questioning their faith. People are questioning like their sanity. you
They're
know,
questioning actual facts because I
yeah,
posted something on X and this man who's been following me for a long time um just lost his, over. So I'm not going to talk about what it is because it's
right, right,
political.
yeah,
Okay.
right.
But, anyways, I took it right off of the government site just to make him aware that the numbers that he was
Mm,
sharing were incorrect. He blocked me. This is what we're dealing with now. If I didn't see it and I didn't find it, then you can't be right. It says gov.ca on it. I don't know
right,
what to tell you, but
yeah, yeah.
this is
It's
the
there.
generation of misinformation. But, you know,
We're in different times, and
yeah.
I think we again, it's like how many times have we said you can't control what's going on in the world, but you can control how you handle it or how you see it. I
Yeah.
think putting things and working with a collective consciousness is the one way we all can make a difference as a
Yeah.
collective. Even if it's like one good positive thought every single day, you put it out there and you just drill it out there. Just
Mhm.
keep saying it, and like how many times, like I say, I post more on Instagram than anywhere else. And it's always love, live, love, laugh, live your best
Yeah.
life, live your adventure. It's always something positive. And I put that out there and I read it out to myself as I post it because I think it's important, you know? So
You know what? I think just to go back on the X thing, I apologize when I've made a mistake. I've apologized profusely to people when I've misunderstood things. They are always shocked when you apologize. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I didn't see that or I didn't read the prior one. Thank you for
right,
pointing that out to me." And they
right.
always write back, "Well, this is refreshing." Oh, yeah, because it's a battle site. So if you're going to go on there, you're going to
Right.
experience all this negative energy. And if you're contributing to that negative energy, it just ripple effects through your household and through your neighborhood with everybody.
Right.
It just keeps going. So change the perspective. If you want to be there, don't be combative, be kind, be gentle, and listen.
Mhm.
Because
Exactly.
these people really believe what they're saying, just like you do. So
Mhm.
don't be harsh. Don't call anyone names.
You
It
don't have to
just
agree.
comes back to you.
That's all about I agree. That's all about, you know what? We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. Our
Yeah.
views can be different. Our points can be different, but it doesn't mean we can't play nice in the sandbox just because we don't
No.
agree. You know what
The
I
only
mean?
time I speak up is because the John Benet Ramsey case has been reopened and there's a
Mm,
lot of stuff going out there. There's a lot of lies on social media about everything with that. And I don't like the energy of it. This is a young child who was murdered. And we probably will
mm,
never see anybody put away for this, but it's not because no one knows who it is.
mm,
But just keep your couch detective at home on your couch, because family members of this young woman, she would have been 32 years old right now.
mm.
Family members of hers are still alive and have to see this, and it's totally unfair. So think about that when you're
In
talking
any
about how
situation,
a
any
victim
in
was
any
killed,
situation.
or any. I know you guys love your true crime stuff on TikTok, but I'll tell you, more than 90% of it is bull. So
Mm,
just please don't put that kind of energy out there, and consider the family members, or if it was you reading that.
mm,
That's all I have to say, because that's making it positive too. If you refrain, you can contribute positivity by refraining.
mhm. Agreed. Agreed.
Thank you.
Joan.
Joan, how are you? When traveled to Europe, did you clary sage the hotel rooms? I am going to London in June.
No, I never do. I like it just as is. If I'm going to all these old places, I want exactly the old
I've
feel.
never saged a room.
No. But see, I stayed really old places. When I say old, I mean, we're going back to the 12, 1300s,
Yeah, like
1400s.
my mom's past, like her
Yeah.
houses, those things
Yeah.
I'm seeing. I never saged anything when I stayed there.
Yeah. I would not want to do that at all. I like the energy of all of that.
My
I mean,
mother
if
threw
there's,
holy water all over those houses.
but I always always remember too, though, whether you're clearing with sage, whether you're clearing, it has more to do with your mindset and the intention and the power you put behind the words, the power you put behind the intention of the cleansing.
Yeah.
People go around, so I sage my house, for example, and it doesn't work. Well, what were you doing? We were just going through the motions because that's not going to get you anywhere. In
Mm.
fact, cleansing it one time usually won't get you anywhere. I mean, think about it. Some people, if you know, they're saying there's something aggressive in the house. Well, go at it like it's spiritual warfare because it probably is. And one time, all the thing's got to do is slip outside and kind of go, all right,
Yeah.
I'll just wait out here. She'll
You
be
have to
done and we'll
think of
be
them
good
like
for another month.
cockroaches. Yeah.
Right.
They come
Yeah.
back.
There's a lot to it, but it's whatever makes you feel comfortable, Joan. I mean, if you feel comfortable going in and if you're if you're saging a hotel room, I don't know how the hotel staff would feel about that, but you can buy sage spray.
Just be careful,
Spray.
because you could set off their fire alarms, their smoke alarms.
Sage
Depends
spray
where you're
is
staying.
good.
Yeah, listen to
Yeah,
Michelle.
spray. I
Yeah,
know. Just
listen to Michelle, because I remember saging whenever Renata moves. I've saged her places because she believes in it, and we do
right.
it the proper way. Like, it takes a while to do it. It takes a couple hours. I can't handle the smell, and I remember her smoke alarm going off, so she turned, like, she just took it right out of the socket. Mine doesn't come out of the socket; it's wired into the ceiling.
Right.
So you
Yes.
have to be careful.
Yeah.
You're in a hotel, you're gonna set off a fire alarm and it's false, you're gonna end up charged.
Well, plus
So
if you're also only there for a night or 2, remember people have to come in after
even
you. And
oil.
some people have allergies to smell, things like that, to certain
Yeah.
smells. But again, you know, it's safe. You could buy sage spray. You can make your own. I used to teach people how to just take warm water, take some like Himalayan sea salt. I mean, you have to shake it all the time because it'll clog the nozzle. But put a little bit of dragon's blood oil in there, sage oil, lemongrass,
Yeah.
whatever you like, whatever you're cleansing, cinnamon, whatever you're cleansing.
You
There's
can
a
leave
lot of different
cinnamon
things
just
that
on the
work better than
windowsill.
sage.
Yeah, you can leave
Cedar,
cinnamon sticks on the windowsills and the door over the
anything.
door hangs, and you won't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
You
There's
won't
a
have to
lot of
worry
different
about
things you
being
can do.
charged by the fire department in London for setting off a
We'll be
false
hearing
alarm.
about Joan Elizabeth Pillar got hauled in. So no, Joan. Okay, Michelle, hello.
I don't know her.
Don't
I'm
do
just
that.
kidding. Michelle Plummer, hello. Waiting for the rug to be pulled out from under our feet. What?
Well, we were
I
talking
maintain
about
hope for
the state
everyone.
of everything, right?
Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
for
So you
sure.
agree refraining is like putting positivity. I'm
Right.
trying to teach people differently because I know some people can't help themselves.
Mhm.
They're in my family.
All
Say
right.
your family members. And I've said sometimes refraining is being positive. Well, how's that? Because you're not contributing.
Right.
Like,
Right.
stop. But yeah, and say sorry.
Right.
Lady
Right.
Spider, it's true, Michelle. I wonder how many people know that white sage is listed as at risk on the endangered plants list by the United Plant Servers. I don't even know if
Interesting.
you can bring sage on a plane
Yeah.
because it is a dry herb. I don't know if they'll let you. I can tell you, you can't bring it into Canada if you get caught. Like if they search your suitcase,
Right.
you're done.
No, I mean, there's a lot of people here that grow it. But you know what? Look
You
to
can buy
the
it there.
yeah, look to the indigenous the reservations. A lot of times they will grow sage right there, so you get it like organic.
She could
You
just, she's
know,
going to London. I'm sure she can find a witchy poo shop and buy it.
I ordered sage oil and it came from Russia. My cedar oil came no, my sage came from Crete. My cedar oils came from Russia. And then I had dragon's blood oil that came from Asia because where the dragon's blood tree is it is a tree. I always go to certain sources because I wanted things to be pure and organic. Because if I'm giving it away to people to use, for cleansing, I didn't want to be responsible for having all kind of chemicals and stuff in it.
No, I have a thing for Palo Santo, and
I
I
ordered
think it's
big
because
bottles of
it's
it.
part of the Catholic funerals and
Oh,
stuff.
for sure. But
That's
see,
why.
I'm trying to avoid like smoke and stuff. So you can anoint
No, I
candles with
know,
the
I know.
oil. You can, do different things with it as
You can't
well.
light candles in hotel rooms.
Spray, make the spray.
Yeah.
Pure quartz crystals. Yep. Bay leaves
Make
as
a
well.
sage chocolate bar, take it to London, and then melt it, eat it, clean it off, and then you can make your spray water.
See, or
Then
just
you
eat
won't
it.
get caught with herbs.
Yeah, just eat it.
I
But
can't stand the smell of sage, so for me, it's a no
right.
deal.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. People
Yeah.
don't realize, for a while, I would just use sage all the time, whether I'm spraying it or burning it, but I do enjoy it. If you're having everyday life, you're having a bad day at work, for example, or you're having a fight with your spouse, whatever the case may be, kids are just aggravating you and you're hanging off your last nerve and you just, you go out and you come back for a couple of hours, you may feel calm, but if you walk back into that space where you have just projected out all that energy, it doesn't just necessarily go away.
Yeah.
It's kind of good to help dissipate that stuff.
Tamara's got two good ones because you can use essential oil as long as you're using distilled water is a big one for me too. Like
Mhm.
I clean with distilled water and isopropyl alcohol at 99%. It'll sanitize anything. You don't
Mm.
need what's that stinky spray. Anyways, she did make a point about bay leaves, and you can buy bay leaves in any grocery store. Go to an organic
Very
grocery store
yeah.
when you're in London, and you can burn
Right.
those. But again, like Michelle said, it's the smoke factor. Yeah.
Hold on.
Stay with the spray.
Right. There we go.
Catherine, hi, Kat, says, I keep white sage and sweetgrass in my car. Never thought it would be a problem crossing over into Canada. Thanks. I will be mindful on my next trip. I love brilliant. Yeah, they'll just confiscate it.
Right. Yeah.
They'll confiscate it. That's all. You can't bring food items across
Right.
the border, like
Right.
especially
Well, if it
not
comes
meat.
in the form of a smudge stick or an incense stick, I think you're okay.
If it's in a package, I don't know because they're worried about bugs.
Mm.
That's why they don't let you. If you're grocery shopping,
Mhm.
you can bring it across,
Right.
but
Funny that.
it's not a necessity. Yeah, look at the
Yeah.
website before you cross the border because
Right.
their rules change like every day.
Right. Right. So, has anybody here seen that clip that was going around that was supposed to have happened after the eclipse? I hear that it was a debunked or it was a defect. I just
The alien
caught it.
one.
Oh, yeah, that left Antarctica and started working. It took like 2 or 3 hours to work its way up into the Atlantic. It's like this big blip on radar.
No, I
The
didn't
peop
see that one. I thought you were talking about the other one that you sent me.
No, this one here is just this big thing. It looks like a big dark spot leaving Antarctica and it moves. It takes
Oh,
2 to 3 hours and it makes its way up through the Atlantic Ocean. And
yeah.
apparently,
Oh,
apparently, and I mean, this is the powers that be that are saying it was just a glitch, it's been debunked. But I don't know. Sometimes these are the same people are saying it's an air balloon. It's a weather
do
balloon.
you
It's
think an
not it's
air
not
balloon
really a
would
UFO. Yeah.
survive the temperatures of Antarctica? I don't.
I know it's melting now. I don't know. They're
Well,
saying it's never been this way before. Scientists are just like gobsmacked at the fact that now there's water where there used to be ice.
maybe because there's a whole world underneath
Yes,
there.
maybe the Antarctic anomaly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
that's why. I mean, Buzz Aldrin took photos underneath and he tweeted them out and they deleted them, but he kept them on a screenshot. Someone screenshotted and kept it for him.
I
And
know.
that's out.
I know. I know. See, I don't know. There's a lot of things. It's hard to say. Like I've seen people arguing about this on social media. They're like, no, it was debunked. It was just,
People
it's just a glitch.
arguing
They keep
on
saying it's a
social
glitch. It's a
media.
glitch. It's a glitch. But I think to myself, maybe so. Maybe it really is a glitch. But what if it's not? How many
Yeah.
times have the powers that be have said it's a weather balloon? It's nothing. Now we've come to learn, for let's just go back to, Roswell, for instance, was
Yeah.
not a weather balloon.
Not all 10 of them.
It may not have been an alien craft, may have been like a reverse engineered craft that they still didn't want us to know about. But at the end of the day, it
Yeah.
was not a weather balloon. So do we take things? Should we just take it at face value when they say no, it's a glitch? Or, it's a pretty big anomaly coming up there. So, and one guy said, yeah, it goes, what it would take, what, you have a 2.5 hour glitch? Like it just gets work. You see it moving its way up, maybe. But should we be so quick to just accept that answer? I don't know.
Tamara says they can't keep it covered up forever. We have internet, too many people connected worldwide. No, they can't, but they can control the satellites that you use to watch the Google Earth.
I know.
Don't forget that.
I know, right?
There's a reason why Musk is pushing for Starlink internet because there's so much. You have to remember when they're flying through the satellites, they go all over the world before it comes back to you in that nanosecond. They
Right.
can stop any of it. And
Right.
you don't know that you're really there. That's the whole
You
thing.
don't
We
know that
really
you're really
don't.
there.
When you're Googling and you're going into Google Earth for Antarctica, do you really know that that's what you're doing? Or is that just them showing you
Who
something
knows?
online?
Joe's watching. You can come on if you want. It's just a Q&A night, Jojo, if you're bored. There you go.
Hey, look at you, sharp dressed man.
Let me bring the mic a little closer so y'all can actually hear me.
They're wearing my favorite color.
What the hell?
We're talking about the Antarctica anomaly that was just left Antarctica on the eclipse and took about 2.5 hours, made its way up the Atlantic. And the powers that be are trying to say, no, it's a glitch.
I think he's frozen.
Joe? Hello? Hello? Yeah.
We go through this after every show.
We do. But
Joe kind of just knocks himself out while we're in a meeting. Yep. He'll come back. There he goes. Look how slow it's winding, though. No.
I
the
still see
Wi-Fi
his
in
little
that
clear
great
picture at the
hotel.
bottom. I don't know. Boop,
No.
boop, boop.
That's annoying.
Ain't gone. I know. I can just keep having a little bit of fun with that, but
Oh my
you know,
God.
but I don't know. So I guess the question I pose to you guys is: there's a lot of stuff out there right now, and we're getting
Yeah.
close to disclosure. I mean, getting close. I mean, we all know, we all seem to know something's out there, but officially, they don't really want to call it disclosure, maybe. But
I don't know.
it's only the US. Everybody else is, all these other countries are all about it, you know. But
Well, that's probably because the US is housing a lot of it. But
I know,
like
but
with Antarctica, I have a problem with it because they tried to keep things hidden for so long. They don't permit you to cross certain lines there. Why would they let you see what you want to see? I'm just gonna keep talking because Joel's gonna give me. He's gonna. Are you
whiplash.
there?
I know.
He's
What about
pretending
the
to be
Antarctica?
frozen. He's fine.
Antarctica
Sorry,
anomaly. Are you chiming
Somehow
in
I
on the
set
Antarctica?
I
What?
know. Somehow I set the mic down on the off button.
I'm not surprised. You're tired.
I know.
I still got other
we were-
interviews to do. But it's
Yeah.
been good. Oh, you're gonna get some emails soon, or something. Anyway, I'll get you hooked up with that later on. But
Okay, the
It's,
Antarctica anomaly.
Yeah, just
Joe.
chime in while we're just finishing up with it. Did you see that thing during the eclipse? That big black anomaly on radar that was leaving Antarctica around the time of the eclipse, took about 2 hours to 2.5 hours to make its way up into the Atlantic. And of course, you know, the powers that be are saying it's a glitch. What do you mean it's a glitch? Was you supposed to believe you, like Roswell? Maybe it
glitch
was
of
a
what
glitch.
though? Well, I mean, what glitched it?
They're not
saying.
saying. They're just saying like balloons.
This thing was
No.
huge, and it was underwater. It left Antarctica underwater, and it made its way up the Atlantic. It took about 2 hours. That's a big ass glitch, if that's the case.
Tamara told me she had a spacecraft. I think it was hers.
Well,
Who?
should we just be?
Kamala Harris?
I'm not
Naughty
even judging
bubbly.
that one. I'm Italian.
Naughty bubbly.
Oh,
I know. Should we be taking everybody's word for it after Roswell, and considering we've got like blue beam on the horizon? Should we just be taking people's word for it that it's a glitch, or was it a glitch?
I sent you both in an email a Joe Rogan show with Tucker Carlson.
Yes.
It's called, oh my God, forget it. I forgot what it's called, but it's a new one.
Right.
And he got it from, just because you said Project Blue, it's something blue. There was like an aqua in it and something else. And anyways, you guys, when you have time, watch it because it's the whole show. But the first 10 minutes of that show tells you everything.
Right.
It was leaked.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, Tucker Carlson has said that ancient spiritual entities are actually UFOs, not aliens. Yeah. I don't know, man.
No, I think it's a shock because of who it's coming from. You kind of want to believe it because that's not something he ever talked about. You know, he's not George Norrie. He's not Art Bell. Like, this is just strange to hear something coming out of his mouth.
Carlson's been talking about UFOs for a while now, though, for some reason.
No, I know it's really shocking. That's all I'm saying. Like, it's surprising to me.
Most famous people won't talk about this unless something happened. Right. He might have been riding home one night and saw something, or somebody knows close had something happen. More than likely something happened now.
Right? That's what I'm thinking. So I'm trying to find the other parts of the shows where he's talking about this. But I found that and I sent it to both of you. I figure when you have time, it's worth watching.
Right.
But it's something that the actual NSA leaked on purpose, and it's got to do with aliens in aircraft. And they didn't believe it because they leaked it on their website. And Carlson has someone in a former NSA agent that said, yeah, it is real. I worked on that. He has the text on his phone. He was reading it. So, yeah.
He's a weirdo. And the more famous you get, the more likely you're going to get stuff that you can see or be involved with or stuff like that. And I've been hearing about aliens the whole week I've been up here.
Really?
I come up here to do interviews with, writers who are making it in the world and famous. And half of them, all they want to ask me is about his UFOs. I'm like, guys, I'm not here for that. I said, really, I don't have time for a call me. Catch me after this is all over with.
Wow.
Right? Well, because if you ask me a question about how I am, I'll go off at 35, 40 minutes without even thinking about it.
And then you've got a 3-hour interview with a half hour.
Yeah, so we don't do that. Who Orson Scott Card is? You ever heard of Ender's Game?
Yes.
Game?
It's great. It was a great show.
Yes, well, he wants to be a host on our network.
Who?
Orson Scott Card.
Oh, who wrote Ender's Game? Really?
Yes.
I don't know what Ender's Game is.
It's a good film.
It's a pretty good movie, but it's just a movie. It's but anyway, not just him, it's somebody else, but we'll talk about it later. We got to talk about this though. So in 1953, someone wrote this letter.
The year you were born?
No, I will smack you, girl.
You're a lot farther away now, Joe.
I will have ET come take your ass to a foreign ice planet or something.
They like me better than you.
Wait. There's another Canuck wants to join the station, but he'll have to talk to Michelle. And,
Canuck?
Where do you live? Vancouver? No, you don't live in Vancouver. You live in Ontario, right?
No one's talking.
Anyway, enough about
we live in
talking.
like we live on grass.
So anyway, in 1953, somebody wrote this thing about a man named Elon is going to build the thing on Mars and name himself Self-Emperor of Mars.
I've read that.
So it's a good article, and guess what? I mean, we got Elon going to Mars. I'm not thinking it's that much BS. I mean, that's kind of cool that somebody way back then wrote that. I mean, that's what. Shit,
okay, so
77 years ago.
I have to say this because it's like, for example, any book like 1984, heck, even the Bible. You have the powers that be that read these books, and they really can manifest that stuff to happen.
It is interesting stuff like that. Of course, in that article, it also says that he will do away with Earth. Which y'all know I've been saying he reminds me of the guy from 007's Moonraker for 2 years now.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. We'll see.
Right.
I don't remember that film. Moonraker.
If I'm still around long enough to see that, you never know. It's insane.
Well, if you were born in 1953, I don't know.
No, I was born in 1943 anyway.
Oh, then you were definitely born in 1942.
I'm 100.
If you can,
that's pretty cool.
Well, he's in LA. We don't know what kind of work he got done.
Well, I got a lot of stuff for y'all.
There's plastic surgeons all over the place.
When I get done, I got a lot of stuff to catch up Michelle on. So, and you might want to sit in on some of these conversations because they're really interesting. I can't say what I've been doing for one whole day up here, but I can to y'all. I'm just not going to say it on the air because it's not.
No.
Thank you.
But,
thank you.
I'll tell you this much: it has nothing to do with Rise to the Future.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you this: if we have this meeting, I'll bring pizza to the meeting.
You're bringing pizza to me? I need pizza.
The meeting.
She's going to eat it. Yeah.
No, I can drop it off at Michelle's. She's close.
I'm in 112-17 send me some pizza. What the hell is pizza? How these girls treat
Michelle and I will be eating pizza.
See, they treat me wrong.
I can bring it to Michelle's house and it'll still be hot. Let's just say
that's just cheating.
Wow.
I need pizza. I'm hungry for pizza.
Well, eat it. You're in LA. How far? Like it's
a pizza everywhere in LA.
Get me started on LA's food. Oh my God. First off, they got lousy hamburgers and they cost $50. It's
it's like that here too now. He thinks this is just there. He forgets Louisiana's got their own cows, so it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different for us, but and then somebody offered to take me out to the Ramen's Chinese Theater tonight for dinner at 8 o'clock. Last time I said we'd have to be like 9. I said I had to talk to my manager before I go out to eat with y'all. And they're like, well, who's that? I said, none of your business.
That's good.
I'm glad you're having a wonderful
That's
time.
nice.
Just take care of yourself.
Michelle is infamous here. Yes. Infamous.
Thanks
Take
to
care
you.
of your I don't see her thanking you.
Authors know who she is. I mean, several of these big authors know who she is, which is kind of strange. Because I was talking with somebody who's asking me about a show on a network the other day, and I said, well, you have to talk to Michelle Desrochers. And he said, oh, I've seen her before on TV. I'm like, oh, really? Well, that's good. It's not going to help you to suck up, though. You're just going to have to.
That's because name me someone who hasn't seen her.
From it. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That'd be a shorter list. Who has not seen Michelle on
that's
television? Would be a
that's a better way
list.
of going. That's what I told him. I said, you'd be better off saying you've never seen it before, man. But there's a lot of good stuff out. They got all the new dark matter stuff out. They found life. They're pretty sure they found life on 2 of the moons now in our solar system. They found hydrocarbons on planets they think can only be made by industry. Things are changed. Oh, and then they found out yesterday that the universe don't expand the way we were taught. It expands in sections, in pieces. So it's changing everything. Our universe is completely changing. What we believed just 20 years ago, or even that shit 2 years ago, is completely changing. And it
That's
also
crazy.
It also helps us to understand our universe. Plus, that one they think is the Dyson sphere seems to be building again. There's a lot of good science out there. I don't know what it means for us, but I mean, it's so far away, we'll all be dead and gone and back and dead and gone and back and dead and gone again before we get to see what it is.
Well, what about the theory that the Andromeda, that whole system, is just going to move into us and eat us up?
It will. And well, this is how this is going to happen. So in 1 billion years, we're going to start.
People think it'd be sooner than that.
Well, no, we'll be touching sooner than that. Yeah. But where we live will take 2 billion years before it gets to us. But we'll start touching, and then slowly but surely it'll start absorbing us, just like we're absorbing the Sagittarius galaxy right now. It'll start absorbing us, and after about 3 billion years, we'll just be one new galaxy about 2.5 times the size it is now. Well, who lives, who dies, that's you'll have to wait and see what gets crushed and what doesn't.
So we can all relax, people. We've got what, 3 billion years? We're okay.
Take a day or two.
Destroy ourselves long before that.
That's a few lifetimes if you follow the damn light. So just turn the other way.
We're going to destroy ourselves within the next 50 years at this rate.
Yeah, you may be right about that. Putin just said today he loves us. He loves Americans.
You know what I didn't know, and this is scientific, but not to do with aliens. The electric vehicle, the batteries, like the things, like where they mine, I didn't know that when they're flat fields that they can burn people, like kill people.
For sure.
Yeah, I had no idea. I started looking into that, and I went, well, why are we doing this? But that's another show. Tamara, yes, Tamara's close. Pizza for you too.
We've done a lot of research on the Black Knight satellite, the stationary one that's been there supposedly for 15,000 years.
The Black Knight in the atmosphere?
No, it's in orbit. Oh, it's not in orbit. It's in stationary orbit. It's at they argue it's there between 12,500 and 15,000 years.
Is the Black Knight a stone, or is it like
a satellite?
A satellite. Okay, I don't know. Thanks, Tamara, because I just learned something.
Yes, it's an alien satellite parked in orbit in our planet.
We actually talked about that a little bit on one of the Gray Zone shows, the Black Knight.
Yes, it's a serious thing because.
Why doesn't he remember that? Oh, yeah, because he didn't do the research.
I remember. I'm the one talking about, doofus. Oh, my God.
Whoa. Smack.
Easy now. You know you love me.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Remind me of one of my chihuahuas, man. I'm telling you what.
Oh, Chi-Chis are so cute.
Do we know where this thing came from?
No. All they know is it's advanced, and nothing we have can phase it or mess with it. They even tried moving it one time. They can't move it. It's encased in some kind of shield, and it just sits there. And nobody knows exactly what it's doing. Most people think it's just monitoring the planet and sending signals back to wherever. Like when that Omarosa came through our orbit or through our solar system, they think maybe it was talking to it. But regardless what it is, it's talking to somebody, but it doesn't seem, it's not harming us in any way. And some people think they think it might have been what started modern man, not pre-man, but modern man.
Really? Oh, okay. I've seen this. I think Elon's talked about it as well.
Oh, Elon knows it's up there. Elon has talked about it. He said they wanted to go up there and see if they could surround it with satellites and move it, but then they're scared it might activate and start blowing shit up. So they said it might not be a good idea. Let's not move stuff around.
No,
That's not good.
No, so no, we don't know what it is. I mean, just like when Omarosa, whatever, I can't pronounce it, but whatever it was came through just recently. First it was like, oh no, it's not alien, no. And then all of a sudden, all scientists were like, oh, I don't know, that looks pretty alien to us. And then it turned, and then it changed speeds, and it turned again. And then when it got close to some of the ejected things that were headed to our planet, and recently, in which our government don't like to tell y'all, we've been shooting things down as not balloons. They look like some weird containers, no propulsion system. They don't have no idea how they work. We shot 2 or 3 down over Lake Huron. We shot a couple down over Canada. We don't know what they are.
Well, the good thing you shot them down over Canada, because Canada just watched them go by.
It's Canada. I think Canada actually asked us to shoot them, or we got
probably because I don't know what we'd shoot them with.
Well, no, y'all get jets. We give y'all jets, but there's some kind of deal between y'all's aerospace and ours that we control y'all's airspace. I don't know why it is. Letting Biden fly jets over your plane is dangerous. I mean, really.
No, but I understand why it is, because you're protecting the border, so you have to come into the airspace. So it makes total sense. It's
interesting to see, and then I've seen lots of interesting stuff about Mr. Pink Shorts. I love this story about Castro's granddaughter. So she put this thing together because Raul's going to die pretty soon, and she's going to take over Canada. So she wrote a letter to Trudeau so in Canada they have no doubt that he's Castro's son. None at all. None.
You're killing
They've actually got letters and stuff. They've actually got letters posted.
Don't even bother saving this show.
You are killing me.
So wait, they actually got letters written from.
Oh my God, Joe! It's not.
What's his name's wife? To him. But anyway, what is that?
Send your emails
Q&A. Did I mention that we have an open mic night?
She invited him to come down and rule Cuba when she takes over. She actually sent him an invitation
to her brother.
Pretty much. Well, no, he would be like her uncle.
Oh my God. Oh,
so I'm
killing me. I'm going to leave it right there.
I'm not moving to Cuba. That's Q&A. Y'all don't know this stuff.
No, it's not news on the flip side.
No, that's still Q&A.
Unless Trudeau's flying in a saucer, we don't want to know.
Right. Unless he's being like hovering over or down.
Yeah.
It might be a saucer that brings him down there. Maybe that's how you got pregnant in the first place. Oh, wait, did I say he? Yes, I did.
If you're upset with what has been said, please contact Joe Montaldo.
No, that's not how it works. All emails go to courtesy of Michelle Desrochers.
No, because
Joe Montaldo will have been fired.
Look, I end every show.
That's right. Because Joe Montaldo will have been fired, so I'll be the only one left at the helm.
I think I've even been drinking.
Right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Kelly, how you doing? I was hating myself too this whole trip.
Go eat something because you're like spitting gibberish right now.
No, it's not gibberish, it's fact.
Go eat something, Joe.
I just ate doofus just like 10 minutes ago.
You call me doofus one more time, you're gonna find me there smacking you around.
Actually, you need to get some red slippers so I can call you Dorothy.
I have Dorothy shoes.
Oh, see, you need to put them on.
They're 7-inch heels. They're ruby. They're actual ruby.
Dorothy shoes. No.
I'm not wearing those ugly flats. I even have the witch painted under one of the soles, and the other sole is Dorothy.
I'm not even touching that one.
No, I got them from Taylor Suzz. They don't do shoes anymore. They used to do shoes with all kinds of different decorations underneath them.
Oh, now I don't feel bad.
And painted.
I don't feel bad anymore. I heard somebody else got fired because they said Jesus was an alien. Because I lost a job.
There's a lot of memes about that right now.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yes. They show a big giant portal with Jesus coming out of it. Pretty sure that's a total Jesus is an alien meme. It's just
my God.
We know what we were talking about earlier is things that are hidden in plain sight. When you watch a TV show or a series, and you see things, we were saying, do you think producers are in a roundabout sort of way, or the writers? And maybe you're running into this in some of the stories that you're covering right now, with authors, but do they put things to sort of whistle blow quietly to try to get the masses to wake up and say, "Wait a minute, this might be a thing."
It could be. I mean, you never know what's going on out there. Oh, I know. I got to go back to DC in 2 months. I'm not real happy about that, but other than that.
I wonder, Supernatural, the show, when they did the time travel episode, there was a lot of that going on.
I'm just thinking there's a lot of shows out there, and you know who does it the most, or a lot of the independent,
because they can get away with it. They're not censored the same way as the other producers. Right? It's an independent film is a different classification than the general public viewing.
Indie films are more popular than they used to be, though. Indie producers are more
very big right now because they're also streaming on services like Netflix.
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons. Yeah. What's that one called? What's it called?
South Park?
Yes.
Another one. I don't know. Like,
I don't know about The Simpsons because I have to wonder.
Oh, they freaking nail it. Like,
but is it really from before, or is this like the Dan Mandela effect that's telling us that it's not?
No, the Simpsons usually predict things 2 or 3 years in advance.
They do.
Don't ask me how they do. I have no idea, but they're really good at it.
I know.
They're using remote viewers for that.
It's so they do. Whoever their producer is or whoever their writers are have some kind of. Maybe they just feel it. I don't know. Weird.
They're pretty darn good at it, though, because some major event will happen and they'll say, Simpsons saw it first.
The one that freaked me out the most was the Balenciaga ad campaign. That freaked me out because you're talking about BDSM. I'm not going to say the words. And that shocked me when I saw it.
Well, that's probably because they were part of that. But,
There's a lot of stuff right now that it's not even really being hidden anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out, and you're right. There's a lot of stuff in plain view, but most people still don't see it.
Well, does anybody find it a little weird that the director of that ad campaign, who has I won't say her name, but she has a lot of explicit photos and art that has blood on it and involves.
Isn't she the new education minister for a certain country at war right now?
And she's in Ukraine, and she is also.
So I try not to say it since
she is words. Well, it's in the news. It's not. No, but it's in the news. It's not like we're going to get nailed.
I know. And we're down.
But that's where she's from. That's where she's from. So anybody, she was born and raised there. She would just come. She's always been there. She would just come here for whatever.
Yeah.
But she's also, ironically, in Jay-Z's new video.
I know.
I'll just leave it there. You guys can research this whole Diddy debacle.
Tag words.
Hey, I was going to say something about what you just said, but this is a G30, so I'm going to say it.
Pardon?
PG-13. So. No, I was going to make a joke about something you just said, but this show is not rated that high, so I can't do that. I mean, rating for watching. Yeah.
Tonight's show is not a family show.
It's certainly not a family show, but
No.
Like 17 or something.
Yeah, it's not.
That's okay
by any means, but I just think there's a lot of stuff out there that do you think we should be taking things at face value? Like
I think all you Canadians should move to America before it gets bad.
That ain't happening. I'd rather die here. Someone asked me, because a lot of people are moving, do you want to move? I'm like, no. I'm a patriot, man. I stand strong and free, and I will stand in the ground until you shoot me down. I don't care.
It don't matter. You're going to get annexed anyway, so it ain't going to matter.
Whatever. I'm not leaving this land. That's all I'm trying to say.
Well, if you get annexed, you don't have to leave. You can stay there.
I'm keeping my health care, so just saying.
It'll be blue pants instead of pink shorts. That's all. Yeah,
okay.
Something along those lines.
Anyways,
just say it depends. Sorry.
Getting back to something actually good. So I was reading about that stupid asteroid that went through and disappeared, changed orbit like 3 times. So these things that were coming in, one of the ones they pulled out of some forest in Canada was still sort of active. Now, as far as I can tell, they don't have no idea how these things fly. And when they're inside the atmosphere, they're maneuvering. They're like cans, and they're way bigger than that, but they look like cans, probably the size of a jet. And they're just coming in, and then it's worrying me. If I say this is China, and stupid America shooting them down, and they're full of like some kind of disease. It just leaks the whole side of this world. Let's quit that.
We're done.
Put some nuts over and bringing them down, or something. Find out maybe there's a little baby alien in it or something. It's got to be something weird because I don't think it's a Chinese. It looks like maybe alien.
Well, how do we know there's not a lot of places that have things like that just buried deep? I mean, you're looking at Canada with really the majority of dense forests and lakes.
Yeah,
for the most part. Yeah, easy to hide. Really easy to hide.
They can just pull in there, park out. They could disguise themselves like a pizza and hide out at Amelia's house.
You've been there with her. That's why you're confused.
Yes. Oh, no, I've called your name like 3 times, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think they go through portals, though.
Some of them do. Some of them don't.
Because that denseness, it could be in the dense forest, but I don't feel like it's going physically through. It's going like portal down.
Mm.
I don't know. Do you believe that story, Joe, about Buzz Aldrin, that he took the picture under Antarctica when he went? And he said that it was all lush and green and water, sure. And he tweeted it and they deleted it on him. And he met with a tall gray. So
let's talk about Buzz for a minute. I met Buzz in Edgar Mitchell in Washington, D.C. about 15 years.
Of course you did.
And then I met him again after that. I was lecturing at the Washington Press Club.
No, but that's cool.
So I'm talking to Edgar Mitchell, and he's going on telling me about the moon landing, blah, blah, blah. So I looked over at Buzz and said something about, you said we faked the moon landing, and you went to say something. Edgar looks over and he said, are you still talking that bullshit? He said, you were there with me. He said, well, people eat up. He said, I can't help it if people are stupid. That was his words exactly. And then when he looked over at the press, he said, what are you, press? I said, well, you see I'm here lecturing. He said, but yeah, you ask a lot of questions like press do. And I was like, I said, I'm kind of pressed. But I said, I'm here lecturing, but I am kind of pressed. And he said, well, I'll tell you what the truth. And he said, no, we definitely landed on the moon. He said, he went on to talk about some other stuff. So the guy across from me asked him, have you had any type of adventures on Earth? And he paused. And they were serving food and drinks at the time. So he paused for a few seconds while they were serving everything. And then he came back and he says, well, he said, I've been to some ice-covered territory that I'm not quite sure is all ice. He said, it seems like there may be places on our planet that are warmer and healthier than we originally realized. Never mentioned any particular place. He never got into any real detail other than he felt that through his research and from his travels, it seemed to be that there was places on Earth that were not what they appeared to be. That was actually his words.
Okay.
But I couldn't get any more out of him than that. And Edgar Mitchell kept screwing with him. And
right.
You could tell these two were friends, man. They were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Well, one of the pilots from World War II were there who had seen the Foo Fighters. So he looked over at Edgar and he said, what about the Foo Fighters? He said, Buzz said, oh, man, what are you talking about? Them things that were buzzing around the spaceships when we were in orbit. He said, this was ridiculous. And Edgar started saying the same thing because they flew the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo mission. So they flew in all 3 of them. And he got to talking about it. He said, you'd see these things come up real fast, and all of a sudden they just kind of stop in front of the nose of the ship and just go, just to loop around it. And then they get to the end of it and they take off. And then next thing you know, it's back in front again. He talked about it a big deal. Well, I've heard that particular story from Air Force pilots more times than I care to mention. And so
I was just going to say, you see them like they come in, vroom, and then they're like this, standing up on their back end, and then that's pretty amazing technology.
So today we have something close to maneuvering around it, which we call drones. But as far as those kind of speeds, we have nothing that can reach those kind of speeds.
No.
And even the drones, even though the drones can do like, they can't really do like this thing was doing, like these tight pull-ins, because they're running on basically fans. And, most of these small drones are basically running on computer fans is what they're doing.
But they're pretty big, the drones. They're pretty large.
Well, drones can be any size. Drones can be 6 inches to quite, to 150 feet long.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty large. A lot of people think they're seeing planes, and it's like, no, that's a drone.
We're watching what the Ukraine's been using to sink Russian ships. They're little mini ships, just remote controlled.
Mhm.
And they even look like little ships cruising along, but they're remote control. So I was watching Putin the other day talk about these drones, and she said, "Oh, these are like the kind you buy at the Walmart." He mentioned Walmart and Best Buy. I'm thinking, dude, how do you know that? Because there ain't no Walmart or Best Buy in Russia. Come on. And I don't know if they just translated it wrong or what it was. And he said, "Well, they're just kiddie drones and blah 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 blah." He went on and on. He said, "But they're very maneuverable, but they're kiddie drones. But yet these kiddie drones can blow up your tanks." Well, that's a little weird.
I doubt they're being
So
sold.
he goes on about it, and then I forgot who it was behind him. Said yes. He said, but every now and then we see this thing. His words. We see this thing that we think is a drone, and we go to start shooting at it. He says it'll sit like this, and the bullets will start, and it'll still sit there, and it'll go up and go down. He said, and it'll do this and do this. And he said, somehow or another, every bullet misses. He said, we know that's not a standard drone. He said, that's not a Ukrainian drone. That's not an Iranian drone. And they always say the same thing. Maybe it's some new American technology. But the other guy's like, I doubt it's, and they go on and go back and forth. So in the end, what they said was they just considered an unknown, how do you say it? Unknown technology from an unknown source. They didn't call it UFOs, and they didn't say it was us. They just said that whatever it is beyond their technology.
Would ETMU, we often hear that they won't get involved. Would they get involved with something like this? Yeah.
They didn't get involved in World War I or World War II. They didn't take care of 3 Mile Island, Fukushima, or what's the one in Russia, Chernobyl. They didn't get involved.
That left a major, ripple effect in dimensions too.
And they didn't get involved with Nagasaki or Hiroshima because they don't need to. If we wipe ourselves out, they're just going to come in, clean up our planet probably in a couple of years and take it. They're all fine with us being here, and they're all fine with us, living and doing our lives. But if it comes right down to we decide to nuke the whole planet, they're not going to step in.
Of course.
They might step in, but they'll probably just remove anybody that's important to them before it happens, or during when it's happening. And once it goes, they'll reclaim the planet later on, and they'll figure they'll get rid of all the idiots that way. There's no need for it.
Right. So we start with WEF.
That's a tough one, because a lot of this stuff. And my question is, you're looking at, you had a lot of things that came into U.S. airspace after the war, but realistically, the United States brought in a lot of Nazis and their technology, and a lot of that technology was hovering crafts and flying crafts.
Well, even Iron Man was based on, like the Marvel comic was based on Nazi technology.
If the stories are true, somewhere around 1903 or 1904, they were gifted a saucer of some sort.
Yeah.
Around 1911, they started building things that looked like saucers. They had a ship, they had a boat that looked like it. They had a tank that looked like it. They had 3 aircrafts that looked like it. From 1911 to I think it was 1913 or 14, well, till whenever World War I was ended. But anyway, they were building those, and then all of a sudden they just quit. I guess they realized that they didn't have enough technology of their own to replicate the technology. And then of course here comes World War II. Very advanced technology. This is stuff that could determine the war. And let's not forget, at the beginning of the 1900s, Germany was by far the most advanced country on this planet, by far. So if you were a race coming to visit and wanted to gift someone technology, that's who you'd give it to. Because America wasn't advanced. Nobody else was that advanced.
Well, they produced a lot of steel too.
So you had all that information, and they almost got the bomb before we did. It would have been a whole different thing then. All of us would be Nazis. Well, not Nazis. We'd all be Germans. Let me rephrase that. But something along the line, the war ended, and we'd already taken a bunch of their science. But when the war ended, we confiscated that ship, and I would bet you money that's the thing that crashed at Roswell. I'd bet money.
I would completely agree with that. And some of those scientists were even at the Nuremberg trials. Like that's pretty hardcore, and they're being brought over here because of the information that they had.
They possessed.
Right. So I would guess that's a crash in Roswell for sure.
No, it makes sense as to why they'd want to hold it and not have anybody near it.
Well, and then when you listen to the real reports of Roswell, so there was a crash in McRazzle's field, but there was also one in Corona at the same time. The one in Corona was one ship completely intact, with 4 human-looking bodies that looked like they were melting, disintegrating. The descriptions were they were pinkish color, and they looked like they were glowing, but kind of melting away. But they gave it like they looked like a human that had been contaminated with something. The one at Basil's Ranch was described as grays, and it was disintegrated into pieces. Well, the spacecraft went down. Somebody ejected. It was probably an escape pod of some kind, or maybe a shuttle of some kind, and it hit the field, and it was destroyed, and the grays got ripped up. And the humans got killed when they went there. The grays already knew what was going to happen when it went down. The grays were like, we need to get out of here because no matter what, there's something going on here. And then after that, they just brought it back to the ranch brought it back to the base and put it there. It's still probably there today. It's probably just sitting there. And we may have got some technology out of it, but when you read the Roswell cassette, you hear they talk about what looks like fiber optics, what looks like a microchip, and what looks like aircraft aluminum, which is stuff we use today, but we didn't use in 1940s or 1950s. This technologies that had to be developed through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and really come into pass in the 90s. It took us that long to backwards that little bit of technology that was dropped out of that destroyed ship. The problem with the other ship is it's not destroyed, and we can't get into how it works. We know that the grays kind of meld with the ship and fly. It's almost like a subconscious type deal, but humans' subconscious are too screwed up to do that kind of stuff. So we're there, but we're still not there yet.
Right.
Probably still sitting there. Now we could always talk about Koresh or whatever his name is that gave that went in front of Congress. That long good son of a bitch. He said that they're coming from portals, and like every other one falls down. And we got 72 spacecraft and hundreds of aliens. Give me a freaking break. They've been here for thousands of years. So if that's the truth, then we got like hundreds of these things, thousands,
right?
Which we don't. So and he eventually said, "Well, I didn't have firsthand information. Of course you didn't, because you're lying through your freaking teeth." And this pilot looked at the guy like he was stupid, because they described something that there's no way we could shoot it down. It was too powerful to be a thing, and nothing was going to hurt this thing. Nothing earthly was going to hurt this thing, meaning radiation or thing. Because people forget, even if you go, so whether you're traveling through deep space or traveling through portals, the ship has to be designed in a way that it has to take forces and radiation that is simply far beyond anything that Earth can even imagine. So these kind of ships are not just going to dissolve and not just break up. That's not how they're going to be. Just think of traveling at light speed and a micrometeorite hits your ship. If it's not designed to deal with it, you just became dust, something that you can't even see. But that's not what happens. So even on Earth, if they're traveling at high speeds and something, even a bird, we've seen birds take down big jets. They get sucked up caught in the ailerons or something. So
that's true.
So alien craft cannot be designed like that. And somebody says, well, lightning bolt. What about a lightning bolt? The power in the universe is much more. Orbiting the sun or crossing through a solar system where you're doing that is much more intense than any lightning bolt's going to be. So you just got to stop and wonder. And it always aggravates me when people try to put conventional explanations on advanced technologies that are not ours. Because there's nothing conventional about it. We don't know shit. It would be like giving an F-22 to India. They'd be like, what the hell? And they have jets, and they'd still be like the hell. Even the Russians would have a hard time understanding the F-22. And then like Africa or Brazil and gave it to them, they would just be like, oh, it's pretty, isn't it? And that would be about the end of that. That's just today's technology. And if you gave that to somebody back 500 years, they wouldn't even know what to do with it. Pet it. Oh, it's a pretty bird. Look, it's a pretty bird. Park it in front of the castle so that you can still use the guns on it. I mean, I don't know what I should do with it. So many things that we want to try to. We have this need to put humanity on extraterrestrials when they're nothing like us. We just can't. We just always have to make them like we're equal to them. No, we're not equal to them. We're not even equal on this own planet. So do an African tribe, can they compete with even the Canadians? Canadians got a damn order and it still whip them. It's to the point.
But you think it's just because it's the sign of the times, it's the age that we're in? I mean,
I think it's a need to fill a human ego is what I think it is.
Really?
We're scared. We don't want to think that we're helpless and defenseless against something. There's nothing we can stop. No one wants to feel that. Nobody needs, so our government says, okay, we can't make our society feel like because they won't be controllable.
No, but maybe it's a government you need to fear. Maybe they're looking for a rescue from these
I would
beings.
tell everybody fear the government. That's for damn sure. I don't care what government you got, people. You should fear your government.
Absolutely. Well, for sure. But
the under government, not the acting government.
You spend a lot of time reading. I don't get on social media a whole lot, but I do like to pop in every now and then, maybe with a morning latte, and I like to have a look at what people are saying. And they definitely. Some people are just, even in the form of a meme, if you abduct me, I'm going to consider it a rescue. And there's a lot of groups out there that talk about, waiting for the Anunnaki to come back, waiting for getting up on the mountain and having this rescue, the space fleet. There's a whole lot of exopolitical stuff attached to all of this. So which way do you go? Do you, because there's some pretty big names that believe the exopolitics and giants, cedar arcs are on this planet, and we have a whole solar warden force out there. Like we've talked about this on Gray Zone. Are we too far? Too soon?
I don't know. Tamara, you're right. There about 100 years before we release any technologies. The thing of it is for us, we can talk about all that stuff, but nothing really applies. I mean, we've had 10,000 years of really unabated, unaggravated development. Right. We don't know how long before that. Really, we've had 2 million years of uninvaded, unaggravated development. We're just moving along at whatever age. So there's some races probably out there going, Jesus, it's taking forever for these people to get to space. And they might give you a little push every once in a while, but in the end, they want us to do it. We need to develop the technology so that we can control our own technologies. Because somewhere down the line, if all the stories are true about the breeding, then they want us to develop, because they will be scared of us one day. If we are, so if the Sumerians, the aliens, the human aliens that built the Sumerian race, first created the second creation of man, where the reptilians intervened with and started to create the race that's here, and later on the Greys intervened with the Rh negative, that means we're related to all three. That means at some point in the future we will surpass them in a major way. So wouldn't you want to see how we're going to develop and how they can, maybe control us or at least be friends with us in the near future? So because look at it. Do you know how dangerous we are going to be when we get in deep space? If we were in deep space right now, we'd be screwing with everybody. We'd be stopping at planets doing this, stopping at planets. I mean, we can't even behave on our own planet.
No, you're not wrong.
Back in the early 1900s, when we went to Africa and in South America and all, because we didn't know better. We know better, and we still do it today. It's just so, I can only imagine in deep space we find races like we are today, or we find races like we were 100 years ago. We're going to go hang out and talk to them and get underneath and hide and lie and probably eventually screw up their planet, just like we did.
Right. So what are your thoughts on, because tomorrow night we have like the incredible Britt Elders coming on, pioneer in UFO research, but the Billy Meyer story, like she spent a lot of years investigating this, and I mean, I think it's the 45th year anniversary, and she's going to come on and talk about it. And he was in touch with
Michael Horn on with her. You should have brought Michael Horn on with her. He's the official thing for the family, for the Myers. He's the one who is allowed to talk to him. He's the one that says he has all the information. I can't tell you how many times I've called him a liar, so I don't want to hate on him. But my problem with Myers has always been the same thing. There are certain things about Myers' case that are definitely real. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. But
a lot of messages and premonitions, apparently, too.
Well, some of them are. Some of them have been wrong, though. He's been right on some stuff, but he's also been wrong on some stuff. And, when you get into permission sometimes, and you have to remember, if we hear things ahead of time, there's a possibility that we might change it. Even if it's not positive, we might do it by accident. We know subconsciously that if we keep on this path, that this or this may happen. Subconsciously, the planet may change it without even really thinking about it, because now we know, we have prior information that this may or may not happen. So that kind of stuff can change the outcomes of stuff. But his biggest problem was he got dropped from the field. Nobody was looking down him. Nobody was listening to him. Nobody really cared what he was saying. So in ufology, just like in paranormal, you're only as good as your last investigation or your last thing, whatever it may be. Fortunately for some of us, we do other stuff besides that. But in his case, that's what happened. He started hoaxing stuff. So if we were doing an investigation, he said, well, no, he's only got, and people said, well, he's only got one arm. How can he hoax stuff? I said, well, that's about bullshit. I said, he carries everything in this arm and he puts it on his little scooter and goes up to the place and sets up an easel and the whole 9 yards. So at one point, somebody in, was it Switzerland or Sweden, wherever it was interviewing him, and he admitted to that he felt that he had to fake this one or two so that people would pay attention to the prior.
Right.
And I actually believe he was sincere. I mean, it's hard for me to tell because I can't. It's being translated. He's speaking his own
It's
language.
tough. Yeah, it's tough. Britt's pretty, she's pretty thorough researcher. So I'm really anxious to hear what she has to say on all of it. But to invest, 7-8 years into researching one individual.
Got 35 years in it.
Oh, was it?
Michael Horn's got 35 years into Billy Mars.
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of good people out there, and you should listen. And some people say, yeah, no matter what, he's the greatest contactee out there. And some people say, no,
he's got a big following. Yeah.
I don't think he's a complete fraud. I do think he crossed the line because he was losing where he was. I understand. He's not the only ufologist that's done this. See other ufologists where they're so used to X amount of popularity that they don't have a choice. Or if you're trying to put out a message and you start losing your audience, then you need to do something to keep it or make it bigger or bring it back. And I just think he just crossed the line at those couple of times.
Hey, one NASA engineer actually claimed that Billy's 1976 photos were actually real. He endorsed the authenticity.
We've had everything he had analyzed. We had Bruce being a couple of, actually it was 6 different people analyzed, including 2 people from Milan, from NASA's own people.
Yeah, so, probably one of them. Yeah.
You know what's funny? All of them said the exact same thing. They believe the first 7 or 8 shots. Yeah. They don't believe the last 2 or 3.
Right.
And there's one of them you can obviously tell. So the source is right here, and there's a tree behind it. Well, it's disproportionate. The saucer, when you think about it, the saucer must only be this big because of how big the tree is. So, I mean, a big ship, even if it's 100 yards across, even if pine tree is a big pine tree, it's going to dwarf the pine tree, and it didn't. Now, and you could tell the pine tree was up close; it wasn't far back. So, you just deal with that stuff. You don't throw somebody away because they made a mistake.
Right.
You look and see what the real stuff was, and you keep it. And you tell him, look. We understand, but you can't go here. You've got it. So I think that's why when he did that European interview, he kind of confessed a little bit. I've never had anything. I don't have anything personally against Billy. I've talked to Michael a few times. Michael and I have gotten some heated debates too, by the way. And we've managed to talk to each other over the years, civil, but every now and then, we get into a really bad argument about something because. He told me he never faked anything. I said, well, you're out of here, bud. I said, it's too easy. And some of them, when you really look at them, some of them are just too easy to debunk.
Right.
So you just take those for what it is. But when you go, so you got this set of pictures here, which were taken later, and then this set of pictures over here. This set are legit. This set is not.
Right.
Well, these are legit.
I know it's going to be an interesting interview.
But we'll be at the gala, so I won't be able, so I have to listen to it in the archive.
Right. Well, we are at the top of.
I'll be swing dancing tomorrow night, guys.
You're swing dancing? Do you remember how?
I'm a good. I used to dance professionally.
No, I know, but I mean, you're of that era, so you should be good at it, right?
Well, I'm of that era. I'm gonna pop my foot somewhere the era don't shine.
Boy, and on that note,
I love you, JoJo.
When Joe drops in, so this concludes the show segment for Open Mic Night, and you never know who's going to drop in and get us in trouble or give us 2 cents.
Get us ripped off of YouTube.
I know. But remember, guys, for those who are on Roku, you can catch our archive on Roku as well. So, definitely go out there and check it out.
Monday, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I think Monday you'll be able to watch us in Fire Stick.
on Monday.
Pretty
Cool.
soon. Yeah.
What's on
yeah,
Fire
yeah,
Stick
yeah.
besides Fire? What's
Same thing as on Roku, just different company.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Amazon owns it. That's all.
I'll have to find that logo. Sorry, Michelle.
So anyway, big thank you to Folgers Coffee for sponsoring tonight's show, every night show. We love you so much. We're so appreciative of you guys supporting us. And thank you. Big thank you to Dr. Justin Snicker. Big thank you to Steve McGinnis. Little reminder also tonight about the Halifax Paranormal Symposium, Saturday, October the 12th at the Halifax Tower Hotel and Conference Center. And guys, this is Dr. Elliot Van Dusen who's heading up this shindig, and he can be found every Tuesday night with Dr. Yana Greenberg on Science and Paranormal. So you might get a little bit more information. The Outer Realm is a sponsor. We're happy to be a sponsor for the second year in a row. So come on, got a lot of time. Get some tickets while they're still available. So tomorrow night, again, we welcome the lovely Britt Elders, pioneer in the field of research. And she's going to be discussing her books, UFO Contact from the Pleiades, Volume 1 and 2, which is pretty much the Billy Meyer investigation. Yeah, I know. So it's gonna be great. Get your questions ready, get yourselves in chat. And until then, y'all behave, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you all for tuning in tonight, guys. We always appreciate being in chat. Night, Joe. Say good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Have fun.